I'm Toby Jones, as if you didn't know, and I'm here to demonstrate this EDM machine. This one belongs to Gateshead Harriers. The way I intend to do it is I've got it all set up, so I'm going to explain the components, and then we're going to do some measuring, and then I'm going to explain how you set it up and how the measurement works. Basically, it consists of two parts: the theodolite and a prism, which you use for marking the point where the device lands at the other end.
Looks more substantial than most, that.
It does.
Yeah, the one we had, the other one was very, just like this one.
It's very short and
yeah,
thin.
yeah.
Right. The way it works is it measures distance and angle. So we set it up on here so it knows where the circle is, and then it measures a distance to where the point is where it lands, and an angle, and it then uses geometry to work out the distance from the edge of the circle to the point where it landed. The crucial piece is a theodolite. You have to point that at the prism in order to make the measurements. So the theodolite is a telescope with an aiming mark, and then a measuring device to measure the angle both horizontal and vertically, and a laser to measure the distance. So the first thing you need to do is look through the theodolite and see how the telescope works. So at the moment I've got it set up and pointing to the electric box over by the entrance where you come in. If you'd all like to come up in turn, you can look through the centre, which is a telescope. It's got a focus ring there if it's out of focus for you, and it's got adjustments there and there to turn it out round so it lines up. You need to be able to do that so that you can point at the prism when we actually do a measurement. So if you want to come and have a look through and have a play with it. You can't damage it. When I got it, it was totally broken and didn't work at all, so don't worry about breaking it.
How long has it been broken?
The head is back in exactly the same direction it's set off in. So if you look in there, you should see your own face. and if you keep looking, as I turn it, your face stays still. It'll move very slightly because they're not turning it on a central point.
Oh,
but
like Quasimodo.
It will always see your eyes as a fixed point.
Okay.
So we're going to aim the theodolite for the others. Well, Charlie, can you point it at the prism?
Point it at the prism. Yes. I can't point. Will I be able to see this prism?
You'll be surprised what you can see when you're looking through it. I've maybe set it up too high, but I can't move it because its distance is. Once you set it, you'd have to reset it. That's the later part of the lecture. So you get it.
Oh, I see. I'm looking down the outside of this thing.
Yes.
Not through the centre.
Not through the central.
Right. I get it now. That's my eye has got to be on the outside of it also. Okay, I think that's it. Do I lock it now?
If you now lock it, which is the outside too. That one and that one.
That one and that one.
Then if you now look through the middle.
Yeah, and I'm nowhere near.
And you can see the prism.
I'm nowhere near.
Right, so if you use the inside ones, you can then adjust it very small amounts.
Is that standard with different types?
They're all.
So they all have a locking mechanism and they all have fine tuning.
Oh, I see it. It actually moves up and down. Right, I can see the prism now. Right. And am I aiming on the middle of the prism?
Right,
now?
you should see a set of crosshairs
Yes,
in the middle,
yes.
and they should go to the middle of the prism. This is a little handheld terminal. You can see it's got two buttons on it, one with a question mark and one with an eraser. It's a touch sensitive one. If you press the question mark, that should then put the light on. You hear it go beep, and that's fired a laser at the target and should have come up with a length. And that says 6.501 metres.
From where?
From the leading edge of the circle.
So you calibrated it for that?
Yes. I'll explain. I'll go through and show you how to measure, and then we'll go through and show how to set it up.
So that's 6.5.
6.5. If you want to check it, there's a tape measure there, but I've got 2 marks out there.
I'm just checking where the girls threw their shots the other night. Yeah, if they're doing 650, they'll be alright tomorrow.
Right. You can actually see the laser, it's visible. So if you want to come around and look at the back of my cap, if I press the button, you should put a, there's a dot at the top.
Yeah.
And at the moment it's getting upset with itself because it can't see the laser. I'll just take it away and let it...
I want a red dot on my cap. There it is.
You might get shot.
Might not be waterproof now.
Bit lasered.
It's got a hole in it.
It's got a point at the bottom, and that's the distance you're measuring to. And then it's got at the top here a little bubble. And that bubble tells you that the stick is vertical. Now as you can see, my little bit of wobbling here is about a centimetre's movement at the top of the stick, which is about a millimetre's movement at the bottom.
Nice.
Okay, so if you're wanting to measure accurate to the millimetre,
That's fine if you're drunk.
that's what it's going to do. So I want you to break into pairs. What you need to do is you need to tell it where the circle is. So, to tell it where the circle is,
It's just over there.
it's over there. It's not quite that clever.
It's just.
So it needs to have a fixed reference point, and its fixed reference point is the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
So you get your beautiful young assistant, go on
Is that
Dave,
John? Yeah.
to hold that, and you'll find that there's a blue mark where I've measured to check if the hole is in the middle of the circle.
Am I beautiful enough?
You have to ask Helen, I'm no judge.
Oh yes. And where's my glasses?
Are they rosy coloured enough?
Well, there's 2 things missing there. Yes, there's beautiful young assistant. Well, fail on both counts.
So that's pointing at the centre of the circle, and you then have to go inside the programming on here. If you come in and we'll all watch together, you can see at the top of here it says laser links.
Yeah.
If you press on that, it gives you another screen. So it says preferences, components and about. If you press preferences, oops, I pressed the wrong one. Okay. Laser links, preferences. You see it's got 3 tabs still at the top: measure, laser and common.
Yeah.
We want to go to laser, and it says set controls, and you see you've got the distance measurement screen.
Yeah.
If you now put that in the middle, it will use that as the reference point for
The centre.
centre. And that's got
Got it.
the distance to the centre and the angle, and that's what it's going to use when it does its calculation.
Right.
And because of the way these are all made up, even if you turn them off and take the batteries out, it remembers those numbers. So providing you don't move this, that will then let you carry on using from that point. The other thing it needs to know is the diameter of the circle. So if I do done and go in again,
2.53.
laser links, preferences. See it says throwing circle radius.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 methods of doing this. You can either set off with a tape measure, or you can set that to 0, so it says it's a circle of no radius, and put the light on the edge, which is what I did. I'd like to do that again now, so if I just do up on that one, you see it says 1.7 in there.
Yeah.
If I drive that down to 0.0 and go OK, done, puts me back there. Helen, could you hold that now on the edge of the circle? And John, could you line it up so that it's pointing at it?
This bit here.
Well, now if you were doing a measurement with a tape, where would you measure to?
Yeah.
You'd measure to the edge of the block?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So go on, John, you line it up.
I suppose that needs to be accurate because you could be getting an error there with where you're measuring the radius to, could you?
That's correct, yes.
So is it, where's the point at the moment?
Now, this is where I'm not a track judge, a field judge, but I would have put the point on the top of the block, because I think when you measure with the tape, you measure to the top of the block.
I can't, it won't stay there though, I tried that.
So,
Should I try it?
so what I would do is actually move slightly. You can either hold it on there. There you are. You got it on. Or you could have moved slightly further round and done it on the steel bit.
Yeah, so it doesn't particularly have to be this bit.
No.
Well, that's where the officials would measure to that where Helen is now. And there may be differences between the steel outer and the block.
It's still going to be millimetres in it, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, from the width of the steel or the width of this.
Okay, press the button. What's going on with it? Something has gone wrong with it. When all else fails, come out the program. The program we use is called Laser Links. Precedent. I love it when a plan comes together, me. Laser Links is the program. That's clever, that's died. It's actually quite a good point to say, well, I have another one here.
When I prepared earlier,
I don't know whether it's got wet or what.
Do you have to do them in any particular order? Can we do to the middle of the circle
We
first?
have to do it the middle of the circle first.
Right.
So that's now started up again. I'm afraid we'll have to do the middle of the circle again, Helen. Laser links. Preferences. Laser. The problem is you don't have two hands. So, set controls, measure distance. Oh! Done. Done. There's the links. Preferences. Can you go to the edge of the circle for me, please, Helen?
I hope it's set up before you get there, but
Well, you're probably the one who'll have to set it up, you see.
If you know a bit more about it.
Just ask Marino. He'll do it.
Yeah.
Going to hike it down, folks.
Right. Well, we'll just do this bit and then we're finished. So that's saying 1.8, if you look on there, for the distance from the centre to the edge.
1.08.
1.08. So you would then set on here, preferences, that distance, 1. Okay.
It was 1.08 though.
Yeah, you didn't put the 0 in, that's alright. It's not 180. If I go
No, it's 1.0, it's 1.08.
1.08.
Right.
It counts up from 0 to
Right.
100.
Right. Okay.
So that's how you'd set it up to begin with.
So which you do first? Centre of circle
Centre of circle.
or javelin throwing line?
Right, if you're doing javelin throwing, it's actually slightly different on the setups. Instead of
You don't have to do it. Just do.
Yeah, instead of doing horizontal throws, you do horizontal jumps. And there, instead of doing the centre and the edge, you do one end of the javelin line and the other end of the line. Oh, sorry, javelin's from the point in the middle, isn't it?
Point in the middle.
Yeah. So the javelin, you'd still do the same. You do the point that you do the pullback to, and then a point on the line, because that's a circle from the pullback point, isn't it?
Yeah. 8 metres.
Yeah.
Should be.
And so on there, you'd have to go 8, and then whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Alright. So that's the same for like the discus and the hammer.
Yeah.
That would be
it's-
like this.
It would be in
The middle,
and then to the
yeah.
edge of
And it's
where
just the
it was.
circles are different radiuses.
Yeah.
Right, the final bit I didn't show you, which is actually the first bit you do, I've unplugged that. When you come to set this up, in order for it to know where it is in the horizontal plane, you have to set up to begin with. You see there's a little bubble in there. You have to set it up to get it exactly horizontal.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And you see here, there's
Yeah.
screws, you can adjust that. You get it as close as you can there. I'm deliberately going to put it slightly out. And then when you first turn it on, it'll start up in a minute, it's going through its check sequences. It has 2 little spirit levels. And what it's saying on there is the bubbles in those spirit levels are outside where we want it to be. And you can see now it's got electronic bubbles as though it's in the middle of the spirit levels, and that's saying actually that bit's a bit low. So if I adjust that one that way,
I could do with that for my caravan.
yeah, it's exactly the same as adjusting a caravan, and the bubbles have to be within those centres for it to work. It's a bit of a faff on when you first set it up, but again, if you're going to be the lead on it, you need to take it home the night before and play with it. Right. I was going to make you hand measure those out again, but seeing as it's raining, I think we should just pack everything away and off ski.